Go. Welcome, fam, to the week one of the 2025 season of the FFFL. I have a special guest with me for this recap. What is your name, good sir?
John Andrew Stevens.
I always forget that you have a different first name than what you go
I
by.
do. I do. A lot of people don't know that about me.
So,
The
was
secret child.
either of those names, are they like based around like a family member that you're named after? Or
I don't think so
okay, so why'd you go by Andy instead of John?
because that's what I was always called. If
Interesting.
I was
That is just
if I
neat.
was called John Andrew, I knew I was in deep shit. So
Is
Andy
that how
was
they
a
did it?
mm-hmm.
So was my dad called Lee? Did they call him Lee all the time?
Now come on now. He was the golden child. He was our grandparents' favorite.
Yes, I did hear this. I heard that
He
he was a
was.
favorite.
And so no. I mean we all had our moments. But no, I don't know. Andy just stuck, and I don't be honest. John is just another name. So
Yeah.
there's one
Do you
in every
sign your name,
restroom.
Andy? So do you get to?
Um, my signature is kind of a scribble anyway, so it's hard to tell. But
It looks like a
it's
J or an A. Who
it's like
knows?
an A. Yeah, it's like an A Stevens. But I had once when we were doing mortgages, and you do all these paperworks and shit. People are like, really? Is this your signature? And I'm like, yeah, it's on my driver's license. That's exactly my signature. I had to sign an affidavit saying this signature represented John Andrew Stevens. I'm like, oh
This
my God.
crappy signature is
Nah,
me.
it's terrible. Terrible.
That's funny.
So
Well, thank you for being on for I guess, the week one, kicking us off here with our recaps for the FFFL we started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen like I always do. I've
let's
got a
roll.
wonderful presentation for everybody, as you all know. Whip.
I love that logo.
Thank you. I don't remember. I think I designed it myself. I don't know. But let's get into it, Andy. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to recap the games that happened this past week, then hop into our injury report from Dr. Sam. He is back on for another year. Tougher contract this year, but I tried to get some good sponsors. Um, then, oh, shite. We have the transaction report, which is kind of a new thing I want to do. So I want to highlight the transactions that happened during the week before we get into the waiver wire. So maybe some people know might be some other players out there you might like, or that somebody dropped, or just kind of talk through
Sure.
that. I think it's a cool ad. Then we'll get into our waiver wire, what to do's, comment of the week, and then wrap up with the week two matchups. Are
Sure.
you
Well,
ready,
I
sir?
am, and it's really well timed that you have the transaction report in here, considering current events. So,
Yeah,
as
apparently.
of this taping, so good job.
Thank you. I try. I try. It did work out well, but yeah, we'll talk about waiver wires, what
Sounds
they
great.
are. So we'll do that. I know. But first, we did have an ass whooping this week. It was looking like for a while we might not, but we got the Indy Sobro Cases Aces. Real long name there. They must play in the Japanese league as well. But they won by like 31 points over Suckaditka. So they put a hurting on them and actually were the second highest scoring team of the week this week. What might you highlight as a reason that they were able to really put that ass whooping on Suckaditka?
Well, I mean, he obviously had, you know, more points than the other team, but
True.
the one thing that just stuck out to me when I saw this was all week, because we were kind of talking at the office too, is everybody's like, oh, here McCaffrey goes again. Here's the calf. He's that's why they got Robinson. Blah 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 blah. And then he goes off for 23 points. I think that was kind of. I'd be a little ballsy to have started him, to be honest. And one reason I didn't want to draft him is I didn't want to go through that headache again. I think the biggest surprise and one of the ones I liked the most was Zay Flowers having a really good game. And again, that was just a good game, period, between the Bills and the Ravens. But he had a really good game, and I think it's kind of unusual that you have a Ravens receiver score that many points when you have Derrick Henry going off for as many yards, like 169 yards, like he did, because they're
Yeah.
either usually run all or pass. So it was one of those things.
That was an awesome game. Like I will say, that was the only game I got to watch this weekend because I had work and then softball right after that. So it was the only game I got to watch, and it was one of the most fun games I've watched in a long time.
It was fantastic.
Um, Neither of those quarterbacks is in this game here, but I agree with you. The quarterback throwing the ball to Zay Flowers looks fantastic. And Zay, I believe, ended up as the wide receiver one on the week, if I'm not mistaken. So
Right.
great performance by Zay Flowers. And on the other side, Jaden Daniels continuing to perform well. You can get 24 points out of him. That's great. Unfortunately, Mahomes got 5 more points than that, which is really good to see from if you're the case as aces. But he's
I
got
think Mahomes is going to have a better year this year than he did last. I think it's going to be an improvement.
We'll see. He's losing weapons left and right, though. So that's a tough part.
Well,
And Hollywood Brown, if he's your number one wide receiver, that's tough because he's off and gone. So
yeah, I get it, but the Kansas City Chiefs, that's
I
what they
know
do.
they're just too good. But Ravens defense hurt him badly too. To get -7 points off from your defense is really tough. But I wouldn't have played them or the Bills this week. And all, even before, that's not hindsight. That was in another league. I had the Ravens as my top defense that I want to run with because I think they're a great defense. But I picked up the Arizona Cardinals to play over them this week because I knew the hurting that was going to be coming to them through the Bills and the Ravens game. But that was
Yeah,
great. But yeah, very low scoring game for Suckadick. But better
yeah.
things on the horizon with Travion Henderson in the lineup. He'll put more points up, and we'll see what Hawkinson does because he has Hawkinson as his tight end. Wasn't a great game yesterday, but we'll see how he maybe gels with JJ there. All
Yep,
right,
I
let's
would
move
agree.
on. Let's move on to the next matchup. Meow Meow takes down the champ by almost 20 points here.
Yep.
Glenn, I mean, huge victory over the defending champion. What may have swayed it Glenn's way this time?
Well, this, both quarterbacks performed very, very well, so they almost
Yeah,
offset them.
true.
But I mean, I don't want to take away from his victory, but I think the defense. I mean, I got down the Broncos. I mean, if I can get 16 points out of my defense, shit, I'm tickled pink.
Oh man, just shoot. I mean, on the other side, Louis made a great pickup of the Commanders. If I got 8 points,
True.
I'd be excited.
Well, yeah, me too. But I mean, I mean, okay, you got 11 points, but Gibbs and Swift, I
Yeah.
think Swift had a tougher opponent somewhat. Well,
Yep.
actually, so did Gibbs going up against Green Bay, but I'll take 11 points. At least they give me double digits. But, Louis just had some people that didn't perform.
Right.
Pacheco, he counts on him a lot. And, I don't know if he looks like the back that's going to lead him. He still kind of he looked slower than he did last year after his injury.
Yeah. And he had a similar injury as Tony Pollard, and I feel like we're forgetting that the year after Tony Pollard came back from that injury, which is what Pacheco's doing. Everyone wants to look at it like last year's when he came back from it, but it happened last year. He was able to come back earlier than he should have to do
Mm-hmm.
to for the playoff run. But the year after, Pollard didn't look the same either. He had a rough go in Dallas. I think that was in Dallas that
Yeah,
last year, and that's why he ended up getting traded to Tennessee because they didn't like what they saw. But he was much better last year in Tennessee than he was in his last year with Dallas. And to me, that was because he was another year removed from that specific leg injury. So I'm with you. I'm
right.
not quite sure if Pacheco, how it's going to look this year, but another guy will probably just be healthier down the line as we get into later months. And that might be helpful for obviously a playoff run.
Agreed.
All right. Next game was high score of the week we had Bob with 119 points, eked out the Indy Sobro cases aces by 1 point. That was it. But he does it and he wins the $10. Woo,
Woo! Good
Bobo.
job, Bob.
And he continues this. Last year, I think he was the leader of high
High
scoring
scores.
earners, and he continues the great drafting that he's done.
Yep.
How'd he do it?
You know what? He's always been solid. He likes the running backs. That's where he goes.
Hmm.
And even though he has some good receivers, I mean, AJ Brown's not going to get 1.3 points
No.
on a regular basis. But I mean, obviously, Derrick Henry went off big time. Jalen Hurts is just solid. He's going to probably give you that mid 20 points all the time. But I mean, Garrett Wilson had a nice little game. Marvin Harrison, for his sophomore year, had a good little game.
Yep.
He's
Yep.
just solid up and down. And he always has been. That's the way he builds them. And it was kind of funny. I was over at EJ and Amber's house to see the baby on Sunday, and we were watching some of the games. And he's like, "Oh my God, he's got Derrick Henry. He's killing me." I was like, "Man, that happens. That just happens." But
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest persuader there.
Yeah. Derrick Henry was great. And on the other side, Nakua looked great with Stafford there. So even though it was a like scoring affair for a game, to be able to get 19 out of Puka in a low scoring affair like that is really nice. And he was consistently looked at. So Devontae Adams will get more targets, but I feel like Puka's still a safe pick there.
And
And to your point,
I
AJ
saw,
Brown didn't even go
yeah.
off, and Bob still won high point of the week.
Well, he didn't even get a target till late in the fourth quarter, and the game
Yeah,
was already pretty well decided. And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!"
yeah.
And then going to Puka Nakua, and maybe this is just me, but I only saw highlights of it. But I think he kind of has to be a little banged up or beat up to play better. It seems like, you
He
know.
likes to get physical. I will
Yeah,
say
he's
that,
a physical receiver.
and I can
Exactly.
appreciate that about him. Yeah, and he did. He got sliced up on the head or something. It was bleeding. I
Yeah,
mean, he's a tough player,
he
so
is
it's
a
very
tough little
cool.
player.
Cool story in general of how far down he was and what he's done and how great he's been. So, um, kudos to Bob for the victory and the high score of the week. I'll put you down to make sure you are added to the as the week one earner for that $10. And on EJ's side, still got a good squad, some good showing there, and I think you have Neighbors and Harvey. I think that'll do better. And Goddard, if you can get 8 points out of Goddard each time, I'd take it.
Yeah,
So
he's
so
got a
I liked it
beautiful
as
little
well.
girl.
Yes, little Palmer Joe, right?
Yeah, little peanut. She's sweetie.
Well, we'll have to get some photos sent our way,
I'll
EJ.
do
Don't
that.
forget about the
Yeah.
FFFL
Oh my
message.
God. I think they already had to up their cloud plan because of the number of photos they
Oh,
had.
I'm sure. Love it. That's awesome. Well, sorry that you couldn't cap it off with a victory this week, EJ.
I
So,
don't think it bothered him one bit this
nope, not
week.
at all. Well, let's go to your game. Rockets blast Murphy's Law. So, you know, I think we know how that happened, but why don't you tell us how that happened and maybe a little bit more about when, to hear how you felt when Worthy went down right away in that game.
Again, I was over at EJ and Amber's that night and we were watching it and I was like, "Are you shitting me? He just went down 3 plays." I was like, I was looking for it. I wasn't looking for him to be my top receiver, but I was looking for a good, solid year from him.
Yeah, yeah, same.
And of all freakish plays to run into your own player in a crossing route, I mean, it happens. But I was just like, oh my God, here we go. It reminded me of the year I drafted Keenan Allen years ago when he was like his second year or something. He was really going off and he blew his knee out in like the
Yeah.
first quarter of the game of the season. And I was just like, here we go again. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Keenan
that was
had that
kind of
stretch
tough.
there where he was often injured. I always remember that. It was like, and honestly, it was probably what,
Yeah,
6, 7 years ago. It's odd. Like he had this
possibly.
run of like 2 or 3 years where he just was always like injured in some fashion. So you kind of stayed away. And then he somehow righted that
Has
ship because he really has been consistent. So I know it's off track, but I always kind of forget about that with Keenan.
Yeah, this contest to me was like watching paint dry. I mean, oh my God. I mean, if I could
Neither
have had a,
team wanted to win.
yeah, neither one, either, oh no, you take it. No, you take it. And actually, I went to bed about halftime of this game thinking, you know what, okay, it's a subpar, and he is playing Baltimore, okay, blah, 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 and go to bed. And luckily for me, I get up so early and get ready that the NFL network replays the night before's game, and it's in the second half by the time I start getting ready. And I'm like, holy shit, you know?
Nice.
And so really it all happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Got lucky because I mean, I think three receivers I started, I got like, 13 points? No, 11 points.
Yeah,
11.8.
Nico. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously Worthy going down right away hurts, but then Nico not performing. That's a tough
right.
offense, that Houston offense. I don't know what to think of it right now
But
with that
I think I
crappy
got some
offensive line.
receivers too on the bench. I know the great prognosticators that were on the what was it, the preseason show, saying
Yeah,
that I picked up Keenan Coleman, and oh
Keon
boy, well,
Coleman.
he
Yeah,
actually had a good game.
he
So
did. I know that was good. I don't understand what you're. Yeah, the prognosticators seem to do well.
I'm glad they didn't pick me to win this thing. That's for sure.
I did actually. I threw you out there. I have my notes still. It
I think
said,
you guys threw everybody out there, but
"Well, we
that's
threw
okay.
him out
You're
there in
trying to
some way, shape, or form."
trying
But
to
I got
keep
my
the
notes right
general.
here. I got my receipts right here. Okay,
I
and
got
right
my
here it says
proof.
for champ.
Here's my proof.
It says Glenn and then Andy. That's what it says.
Mm.
Solid throughout with a nice bench
Don't
at
say
all
anymore. Don't say
positions.
anything more, please.
Got my
Leave it.
receipts, son.
Talk about Glenn. Talk about Glenn more.
Yeah.
Don't say anymore.
But I
But
will say,
as
obviously, Josh Allen won this for you.
oh, big time.
He had you until that, just greatness. But this is also why, you saw Lamar Jackson, you saw Josh Allen, you see Justin Herbert. These humongous games that can be put up by these quarterbacks make that big of a difference because, as you said, you were like, "I'm toast, I'm done." And you went
Yeah.
to bed, and you wake up to not only not being done, but up by 14 basically 13, 14 points you win by, which is kind of crazy. So insane game by Josh Allen. Obviously the quarterback one performance on the week was Josh Allen, so great to have that kind of MVP. And Tyler, I still like your squad. Drake London, we'll see how his health is. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow getting you a total less than 15 points combined.
That ain't gonna
That's what
happen.
lost it for you, because normally
Yeah.
that stack is gonna do
Here's
great.
here's the thing is we're at the end of week one. Most of
Yep.
these star players played no preseason.
Yep.
They're not really in sync. I, it's to
Why, why,
overreact, and
why, why, why?
yeah. But if people want to overreact, hey, I'll take Burrow or Chase, or if you guys
Yeah,
want to get rid of
if you need a
somebody,
trade,
yeah,
I got a
yeah,
trade partner.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Baker the Baker is what I title this because Baker Mayfield went off for 30 basically against me, so that was not fun. But I lost to the Jerry Jones Hate Club, beat Denzel Whittington by about 12, 13 points this go around, and I already know what part of the reasoning was, but what do you think was the other part of the reasoning for me losing?
Well, his top three just carried it for him. I mean, Baker Mayfield, Barkley, and James Cook all had very respectable games. Baker looks like he's for real.
Yep.
I would take points from McLaurin and Sutton like that. So he was pretty balanced. I mean, it wasn't real high scoring affair. I mean, you had some decent players, and I mean, it just is one of them things.
Yeah, I on my end, I think Marion Hampton's a rookie. He's only going to improve as a hope. But George Kittle got injured early in that game, and he was having a great game. I mean, already had ten
On
and a half
IR,
points in like a
baby.
quarter of play, so he's now on
Yeah.
IR for
Yep.
a
Four
good amount
games
of
at
time. So
least.
that one's tough. But ultimately, it was my decision to bench Justin Fields for Jordan Love that cost me the matchup because had I played Justin Fields. I had an extra 13 points.
I had that on my notes. If you can,
What? Yeah, nice. See, you have
Fields on the
receipts too.
bench.
So you got Shay. I got receipts too. But yeah,
Now, but
um,
here's the undertone, the silver line for you is you outscored him on your bench against his.
oh,
You outscored yourself on the
I
bench than
know.
you did with your starting lineup. So good job. You got a deep team. Go for it.
That's what I'll rest on is that just means I have depth, which is nice, I guess, is what
I
that
would say
means. But
depth is pretty good here. Yeah.
I definitely didn't see the Pittsburgh, New York Jets game going the way it did. I mean,
Oh my
I tell
God.
everybody, I was like, that legit was double the score I thought it would be. I thought it'd be a 17-16 matchup. That's what I thought it would be. And I did think Pittsburgh would pull it out because they always do. But Fields looked great, man.
Yeah, I thought, well, and I'm not an Aaron Rodgers fan, but I thought they both looked really good.
Yeah.
But here, yeah, I heard, I'm not a betting person, but I heard that that was one of the largest losers for gambling
Oh, I
because
bet.
everybody, oh yeah, I think it was like 38 points or something like that, and they
Yeah. I
almost
definitely
doubled
under
it.
40. Yeah.
So yeah, that was crazy. We watched that one. That was a game we watched, and then we were watching the New York Giants, and God, they look terrible. But okay,
Yeah. True.
let's not digress.
No, but nice W, Kyle. Moving on to, I think this might be the last one because this was the closest match, even though it was over 10-point victory. Kicker in the D. Might be a reason I put that because that seems to be the margin of victory right there, are the defenses. But
Yep,
kicker hardly knower takes the week one victory over Chubby Down syndrome. And as I mentioned, I put kicker in the D because it was the defense. The Packers scored 11. Great. Once again, as you mentioned, the Broncos earlier, we will take double-digit points from our defense any day. And the Bills cost Chubby Down syndrome 2 points. It was a 13-point swing, and he ended up
yep.
losing by about 11 and a half. So that's a tough spot. Anything that you notice as to maybe be a reason that kicker hardly knower took this thing down?
Well, obviously, I believe in Brian Bijan Robinson, excuse me. And then Brees Hall looked good. We watched that
Yeah,
game. He looked good too. So
yeah,
she got good runners. But the one that I like to watch and is that Abuka. Uh,
yeah.
he looks like the real deal. I was trying to go for him in the draft too. These Ohio State receivers that come into the pros usually perform very well,
They do. Yeah,
but
and he
I
he had
think
a
he's a
great
real
game.
deal. But they both have some good players, and again, you got some players that I mean, look at Chuba. I mean, he's proven himself. He's going to be a solid running back, and you got some other people in on both sides that didn't perform. But again, it's week one. You can't overreact.
Yeah, like Zach's team, when you look at that and you say name all those guys off, I mean, you feel really confident in that team. I mean, while yes, the defense is the difference, it's also a difference in Dak and Pickens didn't connect enough, and that's 12 and a half points total from a
Correct.
duo that you were hoping to get, at least double that, at least if not
And
more, right?
and I would expect from more from Bo Nix down the
Right.
line. So
Exactly. So
you know,
so it could have gone either way with both here, but kicker hardly knower takes this W down and means that Chubby Down syndrome goes 0-1 to start the year. All right. Well, it's that time, everybody. We do have our week one recap sponsor break, leading us into Dr. Sam's injury report. This week's sponsor, hide us down there. The Sobro Farmers Market.
love it.
The Sobro Farmers Market is like other farmers markets, except extra bro. It's a total party, bro. Be sure to dress appropriately with a sleeveless hoodie and slides, man. That's how we know you're chill. Get your hands on a couple of our onions or squeeze some melons to be sure they're ripe. We definitely won't rape you on the price. Come by Wednesday and we will show off our gun collection, and we don't mean firearms. And that's the Sobro Farmers Market. Please be sure to go visit them on Wednesdays in South Broad Ripple in Indianapolis. Appreciate the sponsorship. I'm sure they have wonderful veggies and fruits.
So no, locally brewed craft beers or IPAs or shit like that for the Sobros?
Well,
Or do they
no.
drink kombucha instead?
The Sobro, he totally loves his IPAs. I know it. That's what the bros like. A nice West Coast IPA, maybe the hazy man.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's probably the healthiest sponsorship we've had so far.
It probably is, and I think we should be on board with it a little bit
I'm
more.
I'm I'm in on it. I see a few
Yeah,
things there I
I like
would
a
be
good
happy to
farmers
cook up.
market.
Yep.
Yeah, so check them out. Nice sponsor. But now we got to get into the injury report with Dr. Sam. Um, Before I do that, I should probably make sure that the like actual audio settings and all that stuff are are adjusted for, as I always seem to do a terrible job with that. All
Yeah,
right.
I think as the budget grows with this podcast, we ought to get you a producer.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I wish we could do that, but here I'm going to take us away, and a producer would be nice. So if anybody's up for that job, you let me know. But all right, take it away, Dr.
It
Sam.
looks so serious. Oh my
He
God.
does.
All right, week one injury report. Doing this inside in the light, just for Andy this week. So Brock Bowers, tight end for the Raiders, exited the second half with a knee injury. He said he was all fine. We just have to monitor the reports. Looks like it could potentially be like a knee sprain, more one of the lateral or medial ligaments. So just monitor practice reports for him. George Kittle, tight end for the 49ers, is now on injured reserve. So he'll be out for about 3 to 5 weeks, most likely, with probably a 25% dip in production when he comes back. Drake London, wide receiver for the Falcons, is out with an AC sprain. We talked about this last year. They can play through the AC sprains, but probably going to be a little bit of a decrease in production for the next 1 to 2 weeks. Xavier Worthy, wide receiver for the Chiefs, got stiff-armed by Travis Kelce. He's most likely week to week. I think he had a shoulder dislocation. So likely probably about 3 weeks, depending on how the MRIs come back. And he has a high injury rate. Evan Ingram, tight end for the Broncos, looks like he had a calf strain. I didn't see anything in terms of like a report for him on where he's at right now. I think he's just listed as questionable. DJ Moore, wide receiver for the Bears, took a hit yesterday, had a chest contusion. I believe was able to come back in the game, so they'll probably limit him in practice. We'll probably try to get him to play this weekend. Brock Purdy, quarterback for the 49ers, he's listed with a shoulder and a toe injury. So double the injuries, potentially more of a chance for him to sit out, but really no clear indicators at this point. Puka Nacua, wide receiver for the Rams, out. I think he left the game with a concussion. So similar to the concussions, guys typically do miss a week, but check the reports just to kind of see where he's at with that. Juwan Jennings, wide receiver for the 49ers. His MRI came back, which is good for his shoulder. They're waiting on results of a CT scan. That's just to check and see if there's any fracture or anything like that. And then Christian Kirk, wide receiver for the Texans, he injured his hamstring, so he's likely out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Now I know why he looks so serious. He's sitting in front of a W and he didn't get one. There
Um,
you go.
well, it was a lot of injuries, by the way, as he's rattling those off, and those are big time players he's talking
Yes.
about. I mean, the 49ers are just getting ravaged. So if you have CMC, just know he's going to get a lot of work. So you keep playing him, right? But yeah, not Pickens, Kittle out on IR. Essentially, Purdy gone. You're talking about Drake London with an AC sprain. which is tough. CD Lamb dealt with that, I believe, last year or 2 years ago, and it was a definite bugaboo for him for like a long time during that season as well. Um, Brock Bowers hopefully should be good, but man, there were so many on that injury report that it's kind of tough to keep your head around. So make sure you check it out and check all of your specific people out as well. All right,
And
let's go now. Oh,
remember though,
yes,
don't have anybody on IR that is not out.
right,
I
right.
just want to clarify that so nobody loses points.
Correct. Don't be trying to rig the system here, everybody.
Correct.
Let's get to our transaction report. These are all the transactions leading into week one, and then also following week one a little bit. But got a couple people put on the trade block. If you wanted to know how to do that, I can definitely show people, and maybe I'll add that in to the next time we do this. But beat the Swifties, put AJ Brown on the trade block after that dismal game. Maybe you can buy him on the cheap, and then Denzel Whittington putting Dylan Sampson on the trade block, seeing if anybody really believes I got a wealth of running back right now. I have Sampson and ETN on my bench, so I put them out there to see if anybody's interested in a little Dylan Sampson action. But hit me up if you are looking for some wide receiver help. Maybe we can do a little package deal. It's Dylan Sampson plus something for something else. You just hit me up. But anywho, um, then we have Licho Loges. They added the Commanders D and dropped Kansas City's D. That was a really good choice. They
Mm-hmm.
also added Daniel Jones and dropped Jake Ferguson. Another great
Not a good
choice.
choice.
I mean, I don't know how you're going to use them, but you at least keep them away from others. So even if you don't use them, others cannot. And then he added Kate Otten and dropped Zach Ertz. Not as good of a choice, but
Not a
you
good
can't
choice.
you can't win them all. Not a good choice. But hey, I understood taking that risk. Chubby Down syndrome. They added Adam Thielen off waivers after putting Mixon on IR. We'll see if Mixon comes back this season. Dr. Sam didn't touch on him. And the Rickies Rodent Rockets added Quinshawn Judkins after putting Tajay Spears on IR. And you were able to add Judkins because he wasn't recently released by somebody, whereas Adam Thielen was,
Right.
and therefore went on the waivers.
Correct.
So that gets us through our transactions. Now let's get to the
I'm
waiver
just going to tell
wire.
you one thing real
Yeah.
quick. Bob, you're overreacting. This is week one overreaction, putting AJ Brown on the trading box so early. Okay.
Hey, I agree, but hey, who knows if someone is more
Oh,
in on this,
somebody might be around. Oh, so there's some little inside talk. Okay, I got
Oh
you.
no, I don't know
I
that. I'm
get
just
it.
saying in
I'm
general.
getting it. No, I got you.
Hey,
And
I'll try
Dylan
to try.
Sampson, who does he
Yeah,
play for? Cleveland?
Cleveland.
Yeah, no thanks.
Okay, well, you already
I'm gonna
got
take.
one Cleveland running back. You sure you don't want a second one?
I'm gonna take my chances. Well, kind of depends.
Love it. All right, let's get into the waiver wire. All right, let's start as we usually do with the quarterback position. We have these gentlemen that are on the waiver wire for quarterback. So maybe if you have Brock Purdy as your starter and not sure if he's going to be playing, you might want to get a replacement for him. Or if you're just streaming the position in general. Anybody in this list where you're like, heck yeah, I want that guy.
Not heck yeah, I want that guy, but Gino's probably the most stable, I would say.
Yeah, look good.
And the one I would take if I knew they get rid of his sorry ass is I'd take Jackson Dart as a dart throw, no pun
Yeah.
intended, because Russell Wilson looked like crap. And why they're projecting him at 19.1 points, I I don't get it.
Yeah,
And
same. He looked
Aaron
bad.
Rodgers, I think, had the best game of the season.
Maybe I would say the same. I even think Flacco is a good option this go around because they're playing the Ravens. They're going to have to throw the ball to even catch up. So it's just pure volume as to why you might want to play Joe Flacco even this week. But I would agree. I like your dart throw
Yes.
there as maybe a good guy to add if you're looking for a quarterback with potential upside. He does pair with Malik Neighbors as his number one wide receiver, and that ain't too bad.
Not at all.
So yeah, he looked good in preseason. I would say that he's going to start at some point this year. That's why, of course, smart people had him on here. Now
Yeah.
let's go to the running backs. We had some views of what the running back room might look like in some of these places, as well as some moves made that may have changed that a little bit. Any of these running backs catch your eye?
Well, again, they got Kenneth Gainwell, and you know what? Kenneth Gainwell is serviceable and everything, but I think he got so much play in this game because of Caleb Johnson's fumble and turning the ball over that they just made him sit and watch for a while.
Yep,
Nobody I'm really going to jump out after. I mean, anybody on this list you're going to jump for, you're pretty much hoping for an injury to a number one running back. That's just my 2 cents.
I would agree. I mean, that's what you are looking for. Kenneth Gainwell has the most value because of how Arthur Smith uses running backs, and if you want to take a shot on a Pittsburgh running back and a run heavy offense, that's a good idea. And like you said, I think it's a serviceable backup running back is what Kenneth Gainwell
Right.
is. Look at him as the same thing on your bench if you want to pick him up. The other guy that I would put as the one at the very bottom, I always keep these bottom guys. LaQuint Allen, after the Tank Bigsby trade, in that
Forgot
game,
about that.
LaQuint Allen actually had the uh, outside of Bigsby, I believe, and maybe even more than Bigsby, but he had more run than Bashal Tutin, which everyone's been talking about. LaQuint
Right.
Allen got more, but that could have been maybe that was them checking to see, hey, can we get rid of Tank Bigsby? Because Bigsby was gone the next day. Maybe they saw enough. So just throwing LaQuint Allen out there as a potential guy, has the opportunity to be the running back two in an offense that will use two running backs.
You know what? Real quickly, speaking of that trade of Bigsby to Philadelphia as a backup to Barkley, I'm telling you what, they're going at it for another run.
Yep.
That was a shrewd trade, in my opinion.
Yep. I like that trade for Philadelphia. That
Yep.
was smart. And to your point, they saw a capable running back. They're letting him know you are the
And he's young.
backup. He knows his role. Is we believe in you that if this goes down, you will. And so for the Tank Bigsby holder, hey, still in a great spot, and he's a great
Yep.
handcuff. So hold
I
on
think
to
they'll
him.
use him. I think they'll use him.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the wide receivers. Had a few breakout games really this week from some
Yeah.
guys. Anybody that you're interested in on this list, if you're in need of a wide receiver?
Well, um, the one that I really kind of would look at, well, let me make two comments first. Go to the bottom. Calvin Austin had his game of the year. I mean, how many times have we looked at Calvin Austin and, oh, yeah, we need to get him? And
Didn't he do this
yeah,
last year? Wasn't
yeah.
it?
And then he
Wasn't
fades
it week
into
one?
it fades into the abyss. Quentin Johnston is kind of in that same boat, is that he had the game of his season and he's often injured. So I would be cautious with him, although I like his talent. Um, the Kansas City, I would probably take a wild card shot on Thornton before I would Juju Smith Schuster.
Why is that?
Uh, I'm telling you what, he can stretch the field. He's pretty quick.
Yep.
He's got some good route running ability. Out here in Omaha, we're able to watch him pretty regularly, and even in preseason, he looked like he knew what he was doing. So yeah.
Yeah, I think Taekwon is very athletic, and I actually recall, if I'm not mistaken, Samantha took him in our first year here because he would have been a rookie that year with the Patriots, and she took him in the draft, if I recall, because he did come with some, I mean, blazing speed, lots of athletic, talent there, and Kansas City knows how to use guys, and so I would say, yeah, if you're looking for an
Bingo.
upside play, Taekwon would be the guy. Juju would be more of a PPR play, in my opinion, and we're not a PPR league, and so
Not
therefore
really.
I would
No.
go for Taekwon if I'm shooting for one of the Kansas City guys.
I would
Um,
stay away from anybody on Miami. That was
yeah,
ugly.
yeah, probably. I actually do like Quentin Johnston a lot. I Harbaugh just loves this kid, and he's starting with them, and it looks like he's their number one red zone, or I should say end zone threat.
Well, I mean, he's a
Um,
tall target too. I
yeah,
mean, he's
so I
he
think
got.
he's got some value more than what we might think because he hasn't been that valuable the past 2 years, right? This is his third year. He's going into his third year, and he was a number one. He was a first round, pick, as we know. I think he was the first wide receiver taken in that in that
Uh,
draft, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. Or was
he
it after
was.
Jackson Smith and Jigba? Maybe he was the second one
He might have
taken.
been.
I think JSN was first, and then it was him. But point being, he could be one. And I actually like a lot of these other guys. Keishawn Butte, who knows what's going to happen in New England, and he's getting a lot of run. Alec Aomaner got 7 targets in that offense, and that's an offense that's going to throw the ball. So
Yeah.
some good. I think speculative ads this week. If I'm anybody, I'm trying to add one of these guys if I can. All right. And lastly, for our waiver wire is the tight end position. We have Jake Ferguson who landed on here because Licho Logis didn't believe in him. Also, Zach Ertz didn't believe in Zach Ertz either. All right. So Licho, maybe does he or does he not know tight end? But a few guys on here, anybody that you might be interested in if you needed a tight
I
end.
guess I'd pick up whatever he dropped. Pretty
These are the top
much.
two guys.
Well, I heard didn't Strange get hurt or not Strange? Who was the Houston tight end that got hurt? That Dalton Schultz should start seeing more action. He was
Oh, that was a while ago. He's out for the season, though. You are right. Jordan? I think
well, but I thought
Brandon
another one
Jordan or
got
Brian
hurt
Jordan.
in week
Oh,
one.
Cade Stover. Yeah, Cade Stover did.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yep.
yes. So I think Dalton Schultz might get, and CJ Stroud seems like he's regressed to where he has to dump it off. So I don't know. Dalton Schultz
I don't
might
think
be a
he's
sneaky
regressed. I think
pick.
it's their offensive line sucks ass, and so they can't.
Well,
They don't. They're not
they're
giving him any
they
time.
are in they're in Houston. What do you expect?
That's what has me worried about Nico. Is they're not giving. If they can't give him time, then Nico's not going to be able to make those big plays down the field.
Okay, so you
But
want to trade your running back for Nico? Okay, we'll talk later.
all right, sounds good. Um, yeah, I would say. Honestly, like one of my top targets on here might be even be Juwan Johnson. He got 11 targets in that offense. And Kellen Moore
Yeah,
runs the most plays of anybody. He had the most. Guess who had the most pass attempts on Sunday, or I said for the week? Spencer Rattler. He had threw the ball 46 times, and let's just say
I did
they
not
don't have
even
a
pay
ton of
attention to
weapons.
that game. They have nothing. I don't want any
But
part of
Jawan did
all.
well, so he might be one. Noah Fant had a great game for Cincinnati. That might be one to look at. But they always seem to flash every once and again with their tight end, and then they don't do anything for multiple games. But Jake Ferguson, actually, he has a good connection with Dak. However, they're playing the Giants, and it's a tough defense. And even Zach Ertz, he always has a good connection with Jaden Daniels, dating back to last year.
Well,
So
anybody Licho drops, pick them up.
yes, make sure you take him. All right. Now we're getting the comment of the week, and it was definitely Glenn's FFFL song that we got to
Oh,
play for the draft.
absolutely.
That was a great song. I need to make sure I get it on here in some way, shape, or form.
It almost
It is
needs
a
to
two
be
and a
your
half
intro
minute
song.
song, so that's what
Should be your intro song, man. It's awesome.
it is.
Excuse me 1 second. I got a boss here that's get in here. Come on. Oh my God. Come here. Oh, yep. Here he is, my boy.
What up, Ricky? Oh yeah, with those ears back. What a cutie
No.
pie.
Yeah.
Oh, and a face licker. Get those balls on his face. Get those balls
He
on his
doesn't have any.
face.
He doesn't have any.
You ain't got no
He's
marbles.
he's a rescue. But yeah, I love that song. Honestly, we ought to see if we can get it on Spotify or something so we can download it. I don't know. he did a good job with that. That was fantastic. But it
Well,
should be your intro song.
yeah, I'll check in on that and see what I can do to add it into the mix
Quite
here.
frankly, I think it would be better than, "Hey fam, welcome to the week one
Well,
recap."
I didn't really plan for that to be the my intro every time, and then I noticed it became that, so then I just kind of kept doing it. I don't
Okay.
know. I think it's just now I think it's just become the thing.
I was this close to
Welcome,
just
fam.
yeah, I was gonna do that too at the same time, but I thought, no, I'm not gonna be rude.
I like I said, it just kind of happened organically that way, and I noticed that that's what I did, and then I was like, because I would listen back to the podcast, and I'm like, I keep saying that fucking phrase. I don't know why. It's not even how I
I
talk, really. So,
I got you. No, the song was fantastic. Thank you, Glenn. The work you put into it and the thought. And yes, I know AI. You mentioned that, but that was fantastic. That was
oh,
really good.
you still got to direct the AI and have the intuition to
Exactly.
do it and all that stuff. That was fun, man. That
It
was
was
one of the coolest things.
fantastic.
Yeah, and then
Fantastic.
"Welcome, fam" is in that
Yep.
in the
Yep.
song
Yep.
lyrics. So
Yep.
just to say, but
You
all right. Well, we
started
got
that.
something else, and I need really you're going to take over here in a moment. I need your explanation for this, but you sent me something this week today
Yep.
actually for us to put on here to get to know you a little bit better in your personal life, I guess, Andy. But what is Ricky's attitude chart? What is this?
Well, if you all remember back in elementary school, if you misbehaved in class or something, you had to go up in front of the class, put an X or check on there or something. Well, this is kind of Ricky's. We got him February 2nd. Um, he is half rat terrier, half black lab. So he has a very high prey drive.
Okay.
And I'll just real quickly, we came home Friday night after watching my Xavier Worthy get hurt on the third play. And it's after 10 o'clock. I got to be at work the next morning at, 5. So late night, go out there and he's out there wagging his tail. And well, I heard it first because when you hit those bunnies, it's like a little squeaky ball.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, I look out there and he's wagging his tail in the middle of the backyard and he's got a bunny in his mouth. So I have to pick it up, go put it. Luckily, we live in a green space that has a walking path, and there just happens to be a trash can out there for people to put their dog poop in. So
Yeah.
I rounded up the bunny and put it in the bin. But then yesterday, I come home from work, and usually because he's been home for a while, I let him out back for a little bit before we go take our walk and get changed or whatever. And I'm like, all right, let's go take our walk. I go out there. He's in the middle of the yard again, wagging his tail, and he's got a bird in his mouth.
Oh
And
my.
I'm just like, oh my God. But so far to date, he has 4 bunnies, 3 birds, 1 mouse, and 1 snake. But the snake I don't think lived, but I made him get rid of it because I hate snakes and I
Yeah.
can't get. But
Yeah.
he actually had 2, but he let 1 go so he could focus on the one, which I was thankful for. But yeah, this is his attitude chart. He's very prey driven. I mean, he's a great little boy. We've taken him to obedience. He's very loving.
Yeah.
Loves the
I noticed
grandkids.
that.
Love him. He plays with the kids. He was actually over at Louis when we went on vacation. Amber EJ took Ricky, and he was just loving on them. Well, then Amber went into labor and was having the baby. So Louis came up and picked Ricky. We were up in Montana. So we rebooked flights to get home as soon as we can. Well, Louis takes him for a night or two. Well, we go pick him up, and he's drinking Fireball and beer with Louis.
Uh, little
So
sipper,
I think he drank more than Louis.
little tongue action.
But no, he's a really good dog, but his prey drive is just incredible. And this is what he has to date.
That's nice,
So
racking up the numbers there.
I'm gonna
So
keep track of it, baby, because
yeah,
I'm telling you
nice
what,
job, Ricky. Keep it going, man. Get rid of them bunnies. You need less of those. You need less mice. All right, we need less of those things.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank
So
you for sharing. We appreciate it. We like
that's my
hearing
little
more
buddy.
about Ricky. I'm glad we
My
got to
little
see him on
buddy.
the podcast too.
Yep.
All right. Well, after week one, here's where we stand. Kicker hardly knower leads the East, while Beat the Swifties is leading the West. Obviously, we have three teams at 1-0 in each division, and each team and three teams at 0-1 in three divisions. But the champ is starting off at the bottom of the East, whereas
37%.
Murphy's Law continues at the bottom of the West. We got to get you up there. Stats wise, I already told you, Beat the Swifties had the highest score on the week, so their manager Bob gets $10 this week. But who always leads in transactions? Definitely Lee Cholochis. Always going to lead in transactions. I don't see that number on here right now, but I will get it on here in the future to make sure we can know who's leading. Just by the transaction report, you might be able to tell that already. But this is where we stand after week one. It is only week one, but we are going to get into week two matchups coming right up for you. We're going to start with yours, Grandpa. You know, fresh
Oh my
grandpa,
God.
fresh dad, facing off against each other. What's this one gonna
Oh,
look like in the end? Andy, anything you're worried about with EJ's squad?
he's going to be so tired he'll make a mistake somewhere. I, that's what I'm banking on. But no, I looked at it earlier today, and this isn't exactly the line. I don't have Xavier Worthy in my lineup. Let me just put
Right,
it
because
that
he's not going to
way.
play probably.
He's not playing, and you know, I don't know. I might make some other changes too, but he's got a formidable team. But
Yep,
here's one thing I'm gonna say is I liked what I saw out of Trey Benson, and it seems like Cardinals are kind of going to that 50-50 split. So I don't know if Connor's going to get all the work that he used to get.
I know.
He might get goal line, but
But
you
they
know,
are
and that
playing
does
Carolina this week, and
that's
therefore it
true.
could
They
work
run
out
big
well.
time. You can run against
Yes,
them,
yes, you
but
can.
I'm gonna go after him. He might be a little baby sleepy, so maybe I can surprise him and pull out a victory.
I mean, I like both sides of the ball. I think we'll have to see who you replace Worthy with.
It's a
But
secret.
I know that, so I'm going to leave that to you. But yeah, I like this to be more even than what obviously it's showing now, which it will be once you have somebody in there, giving him the slight edge in projection. But to me, it looks like it'll be a pretty close battle this week.
I hope
All
so.
right. Will the defending champ have a bounce back this week going up against kicker hardly knower? Right now, projections look fairly even. Do you see it going a certain way?
Well, I think she's got some tough matchups there though. I mean, Bijan going to Minnesota, um, but then again, she has some that don't look too bad. I mean, she got some tough matchups on the road. I mean,
Yeah, Pittsburgh on the road is a tough
JSN
one.
going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Some of those things I think are going to be tough. Lamar is Lamar, and I think Louis
He's
will
got
do
some
some.
tough matchups too, though, because he
He
has
does, but I
Pacheco
think
and
he'll do
Kelsey going
some.
against Philly, who has a really tough defense.
Yeah, who knows? He might use the transaction wire to make some changes. It's tough to tell,
I
but
would think so. I'm sure his
it's going to be
defense
a
will
close game
change.
all the way down. I think. Plus, he'll
Yeah,
be
and
in
it's
Germany,
projected to be
so
close. This is the one in Germany.
he's going to be no,
Oh,
he's
he's
going to
being.
be
Oh,
in
yeah, he's in
Germany.
Germany.
So we'll see how he does on the transaction wire in a different time zone.
True. He better not. He better make sure it's not a waiver claim.
That's right. He might accidentally do that. Fall down to last.
But I will say, it's interesting seeing Allison have Bajan and Brees, who like just 2 years ago would have been insane. You'd have thought that's crazy. How do you get both those players on your team?
I
Um,
know,
my
right?
my only concern ever with Allison's team is that I like Ladd and Jackson Smith and Jigba. However, both are very much like PPR focused kind of players. They get a lot of
Right.
targets, a lot of catches, but don't score as many touchdowns. So I always think she's going to have a little bit of a tough time with that. Whereas on the other side, though, Louis has the Lamar Jackson that could do it at any point. So I think he's got the big uppercut swing that he can throw out there at some point. So can't say who it'll be, but I get the feeling that Lamar might come back out against Cleveland and want to get that victory back that he lost or that they lost on Sunday night.
Let's go, Louis, because I got to work with him for a couple more days before he goes to Germany.
Next up, we have Beat the Swifties, who, again, high score of the week, first in the West, going up against Sucka Dicka, who did not have such a great week this past one. AJ Brown, I put down as the difference maker, and I mainly say that to say he scored all those points even without a big game from AJ Brown, but he is also another lightning rod of a player to have in your lineup. Do you think he is the difference, or do you feel like there's another way this might lean?
Um, you know what? I kind of feel, I mean, this is nothing but a gut feeling. Yes, I think he could have a bigger game, and I think he could do well. I don't think Derrick Henry will have as big a game after coming off a big game. It just seems like he has those ebbs and flows. I also see, I'm telling you what, Miami looks like crap. Devon Achan's not going to be the guy we used to see. But also, I can see CD Lamb coming back, even though he had 110 yards. He had some drop balls that he typically would have gotten.
Yeah.
So this is a tough one. And Aaron Jones didn't look bad. I
No.
mean, yeah, he caught the one big ball, and Jordan Mason's there, but they're still going to throw the ball to him.
Yeah, their backfield looked good yesterday against the Bears.
Garrett Wilson looked a lot better. This could be a toss
Yeah.
up. This could be a toss up.
In that game, too, against Buffalo, probably, they're going to have to pass a lot, so Garrett Wilson might get some good scores. I think he was a under the radar player for Bob when he drafted him and in last week's victory as well. But you're correct. Should be very close. We will see how this one shapes up. I'm putting the lean Bob's way just because he already has a victory this week, and he has room for some guys that could be big boom bust players to actually boom this week instead of bust. Because when
Okay,
you look
I'm
at
on
his
that bandwagon.
yeah, when you look at
I'm
his
good.
player ranks, look at his player ranks. 10th Jalen Hurts, which isn't great, but hey, it's still a top 10 quarterback. First for Derrick Henry, fifth for Sam
AJ
Laporta,
Brown
seventh Garrett.
100.
Right, which is crazy.
Oh my God.
But without him, he's got the number 7 wide receiver, number 10 wide receiver, number 5 tight end, number 1 running back on the week last week. So lots of big scores there with some guys who normally do put those up that can this week. So I'm leaning Bob's way, which means Sam will win. Okay. Kittle's in bits. He is out. So I need to figure out tight end situation for myself. So that's why it is empty because I don't have another tight end. So therefore, guess what I will be going after this week on the waiver
Leacho,
wire.
pick up some tight ends.
But I will get that spot filled. How do you feel about my chances? Even though I lost last week.
I mean, you got a good. Again, it's week one overreaction, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, you got somebody I was going for that you sniped from me. Is I like that Jameson Williams. I think he's gonna end up having a decent season. So,
You'll see what that
and
offense
then
looks like.
yeah, it looked bad the other day, but I still think they'll come out of it. I mean, again, season one, they haven't played all preseason. Most of them haven't played together.
Yeah.
Well, Meow Meow's got a good tough team too, but I don't
He
know.
does. Herbert had a huge week last week going against Vegas. That about
The only
middle
thing
pack
I
probably
don't like
defense.
if I'm playing an NFC North game, and granted it's at Detroit, but you got two running backs playing each other, that kind of concerns me a little because it could be a low scoring game and you might end up not getting much from either one. But then again, they could be breakout and look what we saw Monday night with Minnesota in the fourth quarter. So
Yeah. I
again,
also have two running backs going against each other of Chase Brown and Travis Etienne right now. So I've made a similar decision, which normally I would actually say, yeah, I don't like to do that because now you're not going to on game script as much as you should.
and
However,
the other
with
thing
that
is he
said, I
has a
think
go
what's
ahead.
up?
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to
Go
say that
ahead.
the reason I don't mind is with all four of these backs. Well, maybe not Gibbs so much, but because of his big play potential. But all four are workload back. So I mean, Chase
They
Brown's
are.
getting all the work there, and Travis Etienne showed that he got what 65-70% of the work there. So
Absolutely.
I feel good with that. And on his end, Jahmyr Gibbs, though he does split with Montgomery, he's got that big playability, and DeAndre Swift is going to get that 65-70% of the snaps with the Bears, is what it seems. So I do like that at least if you're going to play it that way, because you understand game script is a factor in when you're playing these guys, you want to think, what do you see the game going like? But normally that would normally mean most games aren't heavily both running backs are going off in the same game.
Right. I'm gonna go with Meow Meow just because, or I'm gonna go with you just because Meow Meow has a Miami player on his team, and I
Yeah,
hate
Waddle
saying
didn't do
that.
as well, but
I hate. Well, Miami's gonna suck this week or this year. It's bad.
he does have the number one defense, though. So we'll have to see how the Broncos have shut down the Colts this week. And if Danny Dimes looks the same as he did last week, we'll see. But I'm
Yep.
coming for you, Glenn. I'm coming for you, DJ. Meow, meow.
Meow meow.
All right. Baker blocker is a Buka. And what I mean by that is we have Jerry Jones Hate Club going up against Chubby Down Syndrome. And Jerry Jones Hate Club, he hit me up with Baker. He bakered me last week. But on the other side, Chubby Down Syndrome has a Buka who basically neutralized that point spread from Baker. Any other things that you might be watching for in this matchup, or any way that you see it going?
No, I think we'll have to sit down and watch how this one goes and see what kind of chit chat they have between each other. That'll be probably more interesting.
Well, I will say
Uh,
Jerry Jones Hate Club, Saquon and James Cook. Saquon number 8 last week, James Cook number 6. So a nice running back duo that he's got there. But both of them have what we would think would be tough defensive matchup, especially Kansas City. But the Jets, I thought, had a tough defense, but didn't seem like it last week. Um, so we'll see how they fare with those specific matchups this coming week. And on the other side, the Giants are another tough defense. John Taylor going up against Denver. Chargers a tough defense. Brock Bowers, so he's got a lot of Houston's a tough defense. There's a lot kind of there with Chubby Down syndrome having some players that are going up against a lot of tough defenses and the top ones in the league. So I'll be interested to see if he can hit that 116 projection. Good
I
news
would
is
agree.
Justin Jefferson is facing Atlanta and they
That's
suck.
for guests. Just walk by.
Hey Joe.
Hey Joe. She just ran a series this summer called Lord of the Lakes. You ran like 5 or 6 lakes that are in the area, and
Okay.
they're 10Ks, so 6 point whatever miles.
Yeah.
She was Lady of the Lakes. She won the overall thing for it.
Nice job, Joe. That's
She
great.
very nice. She got a little crown they made for her and everything.
Did you get some Lando Lakes butter?
No, but I got some banana bread to put my butter on. They made, yeah, it was good.
Allison
I
made
done
some
this
good banana
morning.
bread the other day from Jude's recipe. Jude had a banana
Jude,
bread recipe that was great.
she always has made good banana bread
Oh
and
my God, it
zucchini
was some of the
bread.
best I've ever had. Like truly.
Oh, she always did, always has. Jude's was good little cook, man.
Yeah,
Always has been.
loved it.
So
That was so then Allison made it for us when we got back from that trip too. It was cool.
That's fantastic. See, and we digress. The banana bread.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Murphy's Law needs the Burrow Chase stack to actually come through for him this week because the Indy Sobro Cases Aces, they were second
We
highest
got
scoring last week and are projected as the highest scoring team this coming
yeah.
week.
I want to.
So Murphy's Law definitely needs that help. How do you see this going? Do you see Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase getting on track against the Jacksonville defense?
I would say probably. They're at home. I think they'll start getting some hookup. Maybe it'll be another fourth quarter comeback. Who knows? I'm glad. I mean, they both have pretty decent teams.
Yeah.
I like what I see in them.
Yep.
And they got players. Any of the players can go off at any time. So Jamar Chase is coming back. Burrow's coming back. We know that.
Oh yeah.
So
Hopefully Drake
that's
London is coming back for him because he might be injured, and I don't know if he'll be out this week, but he'll definitely be somebody to monitor anyways. It's always tough to take a guy like that out if he is injured and playing injured. It's kind of
true.
tough to do that, but just know
He
that you're going to play
he
him, and so therefore you need to find a guy that has some good boom potential, maybe to cover up for what Drake London may lack this coming week.
he is on Tyler's team. Let's just point that
Yeah,
out.
so it's inevitable. But yeah, on the other side, Casey, another one where he has some tough matchups. His players have tough matchups, but Christian McCaffrey going at New Orleans, that should be a smash play for him. So I expect that to be a high scoring position or at least spot is CMC at New Orleans. Some of the other ones though are going to be a little bit tougher.
Agreed.
So we'll have to see where that lands. But I'm gonna project Murphy's Law. If Drake London plays, Murphy Law takes this one as an underdog bet on that.
Go Tyler.
Go Ty. Well, that was our recap for week 1. Good luck in week 2, everybody. Andy, thank you for joining me during the week 1 recap. I was happy to have you on and
Thanks
getting
for
your
having me.
wonderful insights into this game that we play. Any
I
parting
don't
words?
I don't know that they're insights, but yeah.
Well, they're
No, I
inside
think
you, so
just don't
good.
overreact in week one. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see tomorrow what kind of transactions happen with people jostling after week one, going either disappointed or excited about somebody. And, just don't chase the points when you're going to the waiver wire, and don't get disappointed with one of your key guys just because he had an off week. And like I said, these guys don't play in the preseason anymore. So
Right.
they're not in tune yet. So
Yeah,
give it time.
definitely good advice to not overreact in week 1. I try to tame myself nowadays because I feel like I'm not great at that, and I move a lot and do a lot of transactions usually too early to get ahead of it and to be on it. To your point,
Yeah.
oftentimes it's just take a chill pill. Like it'll
Yeah.
all work out just fine.
Let another week go by, see where you're at. Hey, I'm already
Yeah,
ahead of last week because last year, because I think I was 0-4 to start it. So I'm 1-1.
yeah.
All right. Yay me.
And I think it's more of get through the first 3 weeks. That's kind of where I'm at now in my mindset of get through 3 weeks with your team and go from there. I already have one guy that's offering me trades in another league and trying to get me to do certain things. It's like it's week 1.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to overreact anymore. I used to be that guy. I used to offer trades to everybody week 1 and get. I was like, no, I need to take a chill pill, let it all
See where
just
it goes.
marinate. Do some free agent ads. Yes, do your waiver
Sure.
wire, get those in. That's important. I think research and studies actually do show the stats bear out that the sooner you can pick up a player, obviously, usually the early season waiver ads are the biggest pickups of the year.
Those
So
usually end up being some of your league winners, so to
yeah,
speak, because there's somebody you pick up that everybody overlooked, and they end up being a stud.
Puka Nakua last or 2 years ago, right?
Perfect
Puka
example.
Nakua was a great
Well,
example
I
of that.
think Lad McConkey was still on waivers last year
Yeah,
after the first week or
potentially.
two.
Yeah,
So,
true. I got Brock
that's
Bowers last year in a different league on waivers.
yeah,
Week one. So it's things like that where you can get these really talented guys. So make sure that you are hopping on waivers. As we said in the text message, they do go through early morning. It should be at 3 a.m. Eastern, 2 a.m. Central. So
right.
get those
So
in, everybody, and then be up by like 2:15 Central to make sure, like I am. I'm up at 2:25 Central, everybody.
225
Louis,
Central.
beat me.
Oh my God, you beat me. I get up at 3:15 Central.
Well,
Jeez.
you better start setting that alarm for 2:25 to get to the wait
No,
to free
I'm
agent
good.
list.
I'm good. 3:15 is already early enough as it is. I still gotta walk Ricky. We gotta
Yeah,
go
true.
hunt rabbits. We
That's
gotta go look
funny.
for rabbits. So, well, love you all, and
Yep, love you.
good luck this year, and take care.
Same to you. All right. Peace
Love you,
out,
buddy.
fam.